When we think about Maundy Thursday or Holy Thursday, many of us think of Jesus in the upper room with his disciples, the Last Supper, maybe Jesus washing the disciples' feet. With Good Friday, we think about the journey to Golgotha, Jesus being crucified on the cross. What about Saturday? Saturday is kind of the day of silence, of quiet. And what do you and I do this day? The only day we have really in between the crucifixion and the celebration of the resurrection on Easter morning. Sometimes people have asked me, well, what was Jesus doing in between his death on the cross and the resurrection? And I believe there's only one passage, one book in the New Testament, which even ventures to speculate, and that's the first letter of Peter. And in 1 Peter chapter 3, in verses 18 and 19, it says, "For Christ also suffered for sins once for all, the righteous for the unrighteous, in order to bring you to God. He was put to death in the flesh, but made alive in the Spirit, in which also he went and made a proclamation to the spirits in prison who in former times did not obey, when God waited patiently in the days of Noah during the building of the ark." So there is presented here in 1 Peter the idea that what was Jesus doing after he was dead and buried and before the resurrection? Peter is saying he went and preached to, in the realm of the dead, to those who, all the way back to Noah's time, those who had been disobedient to God. And in chapter 4, it's alluded to again in verse 6, "For this is the reason the gospel was proclaimed even to the dead, so that, though they had been judged in the flesh, as everyone is judged, they might live in the Spirit as God does." So interesting to think about. How did people respond if Jesus was able to go to the realm of the dead? How many people were convinced? How many people turned and believed and accepted God's offer of grace in this unique period that 1 Peter writes about? I want to conclude with 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8, because while we can speculate and imagine about those things, there's nothing we can do about it. But 1 Peter 4:8 tells us, "Above all, maintain constant love for one another, for love covers a multitude of sins." And that is something we can do something about each and every day of our lives, right? Maintain constant love for one another. Just like a car needs to be maintained, engines need to be maintained, relationships need constant preventive maintenance, and that is with the lubricant of love. Maintain constant love for one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. If you think of throwing a blanket over a mess in the corner of a child's room, right? That blanket covers a whole bunch of stuff and makes it look a little better. And in the same way, love helps to cover a multitude of sins and help us to look past them and even to let them go.